Hello and welcome to iTradeAIMS.net. This is Imi. Today is Sunday and I'm going to look at the charts to see if we can find some opportunities for tomorrow, and we will do some overall analysis of the daily charts. So let's begin. Please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you get notification every time there's a new video. So the first chart we are looking at is the Australian dollar. Let's look at the daily chart. So what's happening on the daily chart is that we have a strong 3 up, and that 3 has kind of taken a pause sideways, indicating that it's not going down. It's probably an A and a B. If it continues to go a little bit more, this AO will come down and create a setup 1. But even now there is a potential setup 1 on the daily chart. If you go to the weekly chart, what we see is some heavy support and resistance levels. So I'm going to mark this. So these 3 levels, if you see around here, here, and then here and here, it is a very strong kind of a pivot zone. So this is potentially something. So if we go away from this and go back to the daily chart, you see that if you were to go long, you'll have to negotiate these levels. So the best way would be to basically wait for how price reacts to these levels, see if it bounces off it and then goes down, then we can probably find a setup there, which will not be a setup 1 on the daily chart, but we'll probably find something on the hourly. But if it goes up like so and then bounces off it, during that time, probably in the next week or 2, it might create a great setup 1 on the daily chart. So we'll see how that goes. Meanwhile, let's have a look at the 4-hour chart if there is something, because Gator is open. So if we look at the 4-hour chart, this is the basically the expanded version of that range that we saw. Let me mark that range with this box. Actually, let me just change that setting. So basically, if you want this as drawing of a rectangle, if you have, let's say, any color you want to give it here, and if you say draw object as background, then it creates a filled one, so it fills the background. But if you take that off, then it becomes a rectangle. So sometimes I like it this way. So if you go to the 4-hour chart, you can see this is that price action all inside that box. So you would want price to actually go out of this box, and then you'll deal with it on the 4-hour chart. Now, looking at this chart and these levels, I will not be interested to even go to the hourly chart, but for the sake of it, we'll go to the hourly chart. As we can see, this price is inside what I call the umbrella of a 4th wave. So it's inside the 4th wave. We don't want to touch this for now. So let's go to the next chart, and the next chart is the Eurodollar. So on the Eurodollar, what we see is a strong 3 followed by a zigzag pullback. This was a B trap. So this is a very interesting thing. So if you were to go long around that level, let's say on the 4-hour chart, you were looking at this trader. Let's say actually on the hourly chart, if you were to go long here and you were aware of the B trap pattern, if you had the idea and you had marked this level on the daily chart using the AIMS box. So if you mark this level, you knew that if price is going towards the box high of the daily, there's going to be a reaction to it. And because the price is going sideways, there are high chances that when the market starts to go sideways, or it's creating a range, then it reacts to those upper levels and the lower levels. So we deal with support and resistance in terms of the multiple time frame box levels. Instead of finding different arbitrary levels on the price, it's best to actually just look at the box levels, because box levels are objective. So that's what it is. You have the, so normally if I trade on the hourly chart, I will mark my daily box high and low. Then I will see how they look on the 4-hour chart. As you can see, this is the explanation of that. The expanded price has been expanded of the same box levels. Go to the hourly chart, and over here, you wouldn't go long. First, it's not a great setup, but you know that there's going to be something here. So you want to wait for this price to go up and then kind of create, if it broke it like that, came back here and reacted to it and went up, then you'd have a very good setup for going long, because now this level has flipped its from resistance to a support. So when price was going up, this was a resistance. When it breaks it, comes back to it and retest it, and if price reacts and starts going up, that's that flip zone, the pivot zone, where it turns from a resistance into a support, and that's where normally you would create box levels and setups would create, so you take those as well. But at the moment, as we can see, that resistance was strong. It created a massive response. Price immediately started to go down, and now it's back to its range. So there's no setup on this pair. Let's go to the euro yen. Euro yen is kind of similar to the euro dollar going on. So you have a strong 3 up and a very clear zigzag down. Inside it, we traded here going down, here going down. Pretty good setups. Actually, let me just show you. When you see market, so the first signal here was the fruit signal, the reversal candle. You have this pin bar type. This brought you just at 115 pips, or let's say 100 pip risk if you just trail candles, or if you had a target these levels, because that's the box highs. You easily had 1:2 trade, and that's all you need. And on the daily chart, it just needs five minutes at the market close to just look at the charts and then take your trades or move your stop loss, and then forget about it until the next. So you have 23 hours and 55 minutes. So that's what it is. So it's come back. So if we expand this chart to a 4-hour chart, you will see, let me just zoom out a bit, a very clear wave up and down. This is what we call the P5, the principal 5. So what happens is that the zigzag retrace of a wave 4, when expanded on a lower time frame, it looks like a 3, 4, 5, as you can see on this indicator, which I have some great news about this, but I will share with you later. So what we see is not a very spectacular situation. So if I see the 4-hour chart, and the 4-hour chart has a sleeping gate and a tight box, I will not even look at the hourly chart. But for the sake of it, I'll go and look at the hourly chart. As you can see, there is no particular setup. So what I'm looking for is a strong 3 followed by, so if I was looking at this price here on that day, actually I did make a video about it. So what you want to then expect the price to go sideways the next day, and then the following day here, it will go up. So my idea basically is for price to go, once I've seen this, I would want the price to go make a side box like this, sideways, and then break out from here with this fresh cross of 0 line. But it didn't really do that. It kind of came like so, and then down, and then went up. That's a different type of setup. So it's not a setup one. So what we need to do now is to look at the next chart. Next chart is a bit interesting. Yes, euro pound. If we go to the daily chart, what we see is a mild kind of an uptrend. Now it's not very strong. It's not very weak. It's not really strong as well. But what's the situation right now is that it's at the box lows. So it moved all the way up there and then pulled back. Let's go to the 4-hour chart to expand this price action. So what we see is a 3 up, but this doesn't look like a 4 down because it's very impulsive. But at the same time, it's kind of creating something. So if you look at the hourly chart, it creates a beautiful setup for you. But if you look a little bit to the left, what you see here is that all of this is a 3-3 situation. You have a 3 up and a 3 down. So it might go into a 5 down, it might not. But if you look at the daily chart, don't know where the trend is. So for this, if you want to further analyze it, you want to look at the Eurodollar on the daily charts. So where is it going? It's going kind of up. It's kind of sideways, but in an uptrend. We go to the Eurodollar, same. It's going up, but sideways. So euro is kind of sideways, but still potential of an uptrend. Whereas you come to the euro pound, again, it's an uptrend, but kind of in a short-term downtrend. And we can see a strong down, candle down, another candle down, but the next 2 candles are doji candles. So these are the candles that indicate confusion, or there's a tug of war between buyers and sellers. So it might actually go back up from here, or if it breaks down, then this setup here, if it stays, where is my box? If it stays sideways, let's say in this here, around let's say Frankfurt Open, we can actually take a trade short to see if it will break below this box low. So this is something to look, to keep an eye on at Frankfurt Open tomorrow morning. So what's the next chart is the pound dollar. The pound dollar has an interesting situation. So I've drawn some lines here. Actually, I was drawing these lines and I suddenly remembered, let's do which markets to trade tomorrow video. So let's go to the daily chart of the pound dollar. So if you look at the daily chart, what you see is really no trend. It's just going sideways. But inside the box, we have trades on the hourly that we can take. Opposite of the euro pound, what it's done is that it's gone up and now it's created those kind of doji candles. If you are interested in to go to the hourly chart, what we see is a beautiful setup one. So you have again, this is setup one. When we look at a strong peak of AO like this and a 3 written on it, you have price gone up nicely strong. I have a video about it. I probably will link it in the description. The other day, I think around here, I created a video and I was looking for price to go sideways like so. I was looking for market to stay sideways like so, but it didn't do that. It actually broke out up and then came back to it. As you can see, it's still within that region. If I extend this, it's still in that region. So now we have a 3-day or 2.5 day wave 3 with a day and a half of wave 4 sideways. So it is pretty much ripe for a breakout up, but there are problems, and the problems are these. If you go to the daily chart, I've marked this box high with a line. I have marked the, let me just bring it closer. So I marked the low of this candle with a line, and that coincided to be the same line with the box low, and this box candle high here, the doji high, kind of. So this is a pretty good line. This one is just the high of this candle, and it also happens to be the high of the month on this candle, the first candle. So that's interesting. So if you go to the hourly chart, you have these levels. If you wanted to trade it tomorrow, you'd go long here, but then you have to either take profits here or take half profits and bring stop loss to break even, and then see what it does around these levels. If it breaks through it, then the next levels are these or these. So very interesting to look at the pound, but on the daily it's just going sideways. Let's go to the next one, pound yen. Pound yen is kind of confusing at the moment. It's sideways again, the volatility kind of disappearing, but it's a volatile pair on the lower time frames. It still creates quite a lot. So as you can see here, we bring it closer, is that there's a strong candle here, but it interacts with these box levels here. Let's create a line on this, and then I'll mark a line on this box low as well. So as you can see, price is now above. The market has just opened 15 minutes ago. The price is just above this level, and it's down here. So there could be potential long setups on this. So what we can see is a 3 up and a 4 sideways. So if I were to mark this like so, I can either go long, put a pending order now, have a stop loss here. So let's say about 40 or 50 pips stop loss, and I will mark the target zone 1 using this. And somebody asked how to draw the target zone 1. If you're watching this video, it's very simple. Let me do it again. So we just click on this, start from where you think is the start of wave 3, bring it all the way to the peak of wave 3. So although this is the higher peak, but the price peak is there, so I'll put this one here. And where I think is the bottom of wave 4 is where I will move the next leg, and that will give me the fib expansion 62%. So if I were to go long here with a 50 stop loss, my target is nicely 100 pips up there. Pretty good setup. So I'm going to think about it, and I'm going to put pending order either now, or I'm going to do it first thing in the morning at Frankfurt Open. So that's another one. Let's go to the Kiwi. The Kiwi, similar kind of situation. You have sideways, then it broke out. This is a beautiful trend up, which is followed by a sideways market. It is at the verge of breaking out. So let's mark this level, go to the 4-hour chart and see we have this A, B, C, D, E, F kind of wave 4. Not interested in it. All I want is to mark the range. So I have the range marked, and you can see that the 4-hour chart has an open gator and price going up. So if I go to the hourly chart, I have a potential setup 1 going on. But I would want the price to kind of go sideways like so, maybe all the way till New York session, maybe even to go sideways. Or I would wait for it to basically, for market to test this level and go up, and then I'll see if I can trade it on the hourly or the 15-minute chart. Right, the next one is dollar yen. So dollar yen has been very, very sideways. It has some bouts of volatility during the month of June. It went up, came down, kind of lost it again. Now the gator is completely sleeping. Gator is in, purple is inside. Always close to zero line. So this is like a wave 0 that I call. So you can't really count any wave on this. If we go to the 4-hour chart, if you have a chart like this, you don't want to go and trade the immediate lower time frame because there's nothing on it. But if you go to the 4-hour chart, what you see is there was a good formation here. I think we actually we did trade it here, and I got stopped out there for a break even. Then it went down and hit the target point, which is story of my life. Happens in trading. So on the 4-hour chart, you have a mild kind of a setup 1. So let's mark those levels. Let's see, we have a level which is the month's high, and then I would mark the other level, which is this box high. So now if I go to the 4-hour or the 4-hour chart, I can see that if the market was to break above this level, it will have to negotiate this level. So I have a, let's say, 35 stop loss and a 40 target point. That's not a very good target, but what it would allow me, that if I were to put a pending order on 4-hour chart there, I would instruct my expert advisor, or if I'm manually doing it, what I'll do is that if price comes here, I will either sell half or 1/3, or I will just simply move stop loss to break even and see if it actually breaks out and hits those levels. So that's one potential on the 4-hour chart on this. Now, since on the 4-hour chart, what I see is the gator is sleeping, box is tight, I'm not going to look at the hourly chart. But for the sake of it, we'll look at it. As you can see, it's just sideways. Let's see how it develops during the Asian session. So I will look at it at Frankfurt Open and see if there's any opportunity. So suppose, let's say during the Asian session, it kind of went sideways. No, not sideways, actually, went down. Let's say it broke these levels, and around London Open, it's here. It will definitely create a H1 M15 setup or H1 M5 setup somewhere down there. So something to look at. So we'll see how it goes. This is another one to look at. Dollar CAD, what is it doing? So on the daily chart, we have a setup 1 going short. We have AO close to zero line. Gator is sleeping. Purple is correct. You can have a pending order here and go for a target zone 1, which would be somewhere around this level. So that will be a pretty good target for you on the daily. Meanwhile, on the hourly chart, we have a setup 1 that we have taken, and I think we have been in it during Friday. So it looks like market wants to go up. If it goes up, it will be a rent over there. Otherwise, it will go down, and we have our target points based on that setup. So can still be taken if you're highly interested in this market. You can still go short on it and pursue this, but you have to keep in mind that your first target will be this box low, and see how it goes. That's 65 pips away from us. So that's another one. The Swizzy, we also have a trade on the Swizzy as well. This is a trade based on the hourly chart. It started here. So 3 down, a 4 up. Looks like it's opened all the way up there. Basically, this trade is not really the hourly chart trade. It was based on this dot candle, but I'm going to manage it on this 4-hour chart, see if it goes down. If the dollar is supposed to go down, then this will go down with it, and see how it goes. Otherwise, stop loss is there. Gold has an interesting situation going on. Let's see. Yes, we had a beautiful setup here. So we went long here, and it hit target point, and as soon as it hit target point, it went down. Why did it do that? Let's look at it. So that was just the high of, like all of this year. So it went high and it created a reaction. That's all. Came down, one more down again, and now we have a setup one. So you have this 3 up. It's probably more pronounced on the M30, so let me show you that. It's not really a most beautiful setup, it's a breakout setup. So if it was to break out, all I'm looking at is if it breaks out, hits those levels, I'll take my profits. That's all there is to it. Then you have the oil. So the oil is consistently going up, not very strongly, not very steep. There's this one tool that you can use to find the angle. As you can see, it's a 25 angle. I like to see things at around 45 angle. 45 angles are good. If you look at this one, this is the opposite of 45. So here you have 360, right? This is your 270. So it has to be somewhere in the middle like this. But this was even steeper. This is pretty good. So this, if we go to the 4-hour chart, does not offer a really great opportunity right now, but you do have a gator open completely with purple correct. So if I go to the hourly chart, I was supposed to see some nice setup, but we have a mild kind of a wave going up, so not really interested in it, but we'll see how it goes. Finally just have a quick look at the German 30, because I trade this on the M1 chart daily at London Open. So I'm just going to have a look at it now and share with you. So this is the box high. Price is right underneath it. Looks like Friday was not even a fantastic day. It just was sideways because obviously these holidays and stuff are going. So if you look at the 4-hour chart, we have a strong breakout which hit those levels, had a reaction sideways. So on the hourly, it will be creating a setup one. So if it goes sideways like so during the Asian session, if there is any, it doesn't seem to be. Let's go to the, so when it opens, we might get a setup one on this on the hourly chart, and we'll see how it reacts to those levels. And shall I look at the US 30? Let's have a look at it. So US 30 on the daily chart has now, the gator has slept. It's intertwined. The lines are purple is correct. So it's going sideways. Let's see if it creates another 2. Very highly unlikely, but if it creates another, let's say, sideways day here, this box might tighten and we might get a daily setup one on this. But if, as we can see, it's been a sideways and then up and then a reaction to that. So we'll see how it goes from here. This should not create any setups on the hourly for now. So that's it. That's the analysis of the Forex markets with gold, a bit of oil, and a couple of indices. We have a couple of ideas that we can pursue. The euro pound is there. We have the pound dollar is there. A little bit going on the on the dollar CAD. We have something going on, and the Swizzy we are going on. So it's not been a very fantastic, spectacular week, last one. But it's the start of the month and it's July. Things are kind of confusing going on at the moment. So we'll see how the market opens tomorrow, and we will pursue these ideas further. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. So when there is a new video, you will always get a notification. And if you have any questions, leave in the comment section. I try to answer all the comments. So thank you very much. See you in the next one.
Thank you for watching. I hope you liked this video, and if yes, please hit the like button. Do you have any questions or ideas for upcoming videos? Then leave a comment. Also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so that you never miss any future videos. See you next time.